let's get to the missing person now. We have a witness, number 3, who's missing in action, has been subpoenaed, not showing up, can get arrested for not showing up, and is not there. And now we're told that this ex, quote unquote, wasn't gonna show up at all.
I think one of the most concerning things we need to talk about is the fact that victim number 3 is missing.
He had just got a win. People are saying that he has gotten to victim number 3. Now listen, we need to talk about a lot. We need to talk about who victim number 3.
Diddy's case is getting messier, and now one of the key witnesses has reportedly vanished into thin air. Like, completely off the grid. No calls, no texts, no emails. Prosecutors can't find her. Her attorney? Also unreachable. And with the jury selection already wrapped and opening arguments starting on Monday, this disappearance couldn't have come at a worse time.
As the trial for Sean Diddy Combs begins, prosecutors are having trouble contacting one alleged victim. The trial for the disgraced media mogul entered its early stages May 5th, with jury selection happening over the following days.
Now, if you think this is just some scared witness pulling out at the last minute, think again. This is Diddy we're talking about. The man at the center of a RICO-level, decades-long international sex trafficking investigation involving drugs, blackmail, and some of the most disturbing abuse claims we've seen in the industry. This isn't just about one missing witness. This is about what that missing witness knew, and why someone might not want her to talk. Victim 3 was never named publicly. That was supposed to happen when she took the stand. But word on the street is that her testimony could have been one of the biggest smoking guns in the whole case. We're talking details about the freak-off parties, drugs, coercion, and even Diddy's violent patterns behind closed doors. Prosecutors had been in contact with her, and everything seemed to be going as planned until she ghosted them. So now the internet is asking, what are they hiding? Is this classic witness intimidation? Or did this woman just get too scared to speak out against a man as powerful and dangerous as Diddy? Let's break it all down. So, Diddy is already accused of operating a full-blown criminal enterprise through his companies, like Bad Boy Entertainment. According to the feds, this wasn't just a music label, this was a trafficking hub. This means drugs, weapons, and victims moved across state lines. Prosecutors also believe Diddy used his money, fame, and muscle to silence anyone who dared to speak. And they've got evidence to back it up, including surveillance, raids, and the infamous 2016 hotel video of him beating Cassie Ventura. But let's zoom in on the timing, because it's getting really sus. Just as prosecutors are preparing for their opening arguments, boom, victim 3 disappears. Coincidence? Not likely. Especially when there are already reports that Diddy was tampering with witnesses from behind bars. Yes, this is not the first time Diddy allegedly tried to silence people who are trying to speak up about him, so witness number 3 disappearing is not just a random incident. Also, the prosecutors said so themselves, that he was dictating statements, trying to influence accusers, and possibly threatening those on the fence. A former FBI agent even said this is exactly what makes high-profile cases so hard. When you're dealing with someone rich, violent, and influential, people get scared. They know that once they testify, their lives will never be the same. Not just because of what they reveal, but because of what Diddy and his team might do. And now, the prosecution might be facing a nightmare scenario. According to a new report from Deadline, the sudden disappearance of victim 3 could force the trial into a mistrial. Yes, a complete reset. Prosecutors are scrambling behind the scenes, trying to assess whether they can proceed without her.
Victim number 3, as she's called, was set to testify against the music mogul. The name of victim number 3 was going to be revealed when she took the stand, but the woman has apparently gone missing, and prosecutors say they've been unable to reach her.
And the drama doesn't stop there. Apparently, her attorney had already warned the court that his client was under extreme duress. That's legal speak for she was scared out of her mind. This isn't some random witness off the street. Victim 3 was one of the anchors of the prosecution's narrative. Her story was intended to tie multiple threads together, from coercion and trafficking to Diddy's use of power and manipulation. Her willingness to testify under her real name was supposed to send a message that the victims weren't afraid anymore. But now, that message is unraveling. Inside the courtroom, prosecutors told the judge they were hopeful she might still show up. But Deadline says that off record, they're panicking. The feds are working overtime to track her down. And here's the twist. Some legal experts believe her disappearance might not be voluntary. Think about it. This trial has already exposed billion-dollar power plays, NDAs, threats, and now a possibly intimidated or silenced witness. As Deadline noted, if she doesn't show, and if her absence throws the case into disarray, the defense could argue mistrial on grounds of procedural damage. That means Diddy could walk. And if that happens, game over. Let's not forget, this all comes right after Diddy's legal team suffered major shakeups, and the government revealed it's sitting on a mountain of additional evidence, including financial transactions, surveillance, and potentially damning witness testimony that hasn't even made it into the courtroom yet. So, if Victim 3 was about to link any of that together, you better believe someone had a reason to keep her silent. Now, this whole thing is turning into the kind of courtroom thriller Hollywood wishes it could write. Only this isn't a movie. This is real life. And if the prosecutors lose Victim 3, it's not just a blow to the case, it's a message to every other victim watching this unfold. If you come forward, you might disappear too. There's even talk of her entering witness protection. You know, just to make sure no one harms her. But get this, the U.S. Marshals haven't confirmed anything, meaning she might not be in hiding, she might be in trouble. And let's not forget, Diddy has already been accused of threatening people, right? Like when he told Diddy Kane members he was going to drug them and pimp them out. And yes, that was a quote. It's not something we made up.
I think Diddy Kane. I think a couple of them didn't sign it. And boy, oh boy, they probably gonna go after him too. Cause I heard him, and I'm giving you this, Aubrey. He stood up there and he said, in front of a lot of people, we were in the studio, and I said something to him and walked out the studio. He said, yo, I'm gonna drug their off and pick them up and pimp them out to my nigga.
Now, here's the thing. No one really knows who this missing witness is. But the internet kind of has the idea. Remember Gina Huyn? Well, some are saying that she's victim number 3 who is currently missing. Now, let's rewind to 2019. Enter Gina Huyn, a name that's resurfacing with chilling relevance. Back then, she sat down with YouTuber Tasha K and dropped a bombshell. Gina, who also goes by Virginia V, detailed a harrowing account of her 5-year relationship with Diddy. She alleged that he was mentally, emotionally, and physically abusive. One incident stands out. She claimed Diddy stomped on her stomach so hard it knocked the wind out of her. She pleaded with him to stop, saying, "I couldn't breathe," but he didn't. Instead, she alleged he grabbed her hair and punched her in the head repeatedly. She tried to fight back, saying she'd had enough of his shit. But the abuse wasn't just physical. Gina described a pattern of emotional manipulation. Diddy would allegedly compare her to his other ex, Cassie, telling Gina she was the bad one, while Cassie was the good one.
He would always compare me to Cassie and tell me that I'm the bad one and she's the good one.
And he was with both of you guys at the same time.
Yeah. And at one point, like, I was breaking out really bad with acne, and he would be like, he said this a few times to me. He was like, "Baby, why don't you go see a doctor or something? I don't date women with bumps on their face."
Oh.
This constant belittling chipped away at her self-worth. She also claimed that during their relationship, she became pregnant, and Diddy offered her $50,000 to terminate the pregnancy. She went through with the abortion but refused the money, saying she just wanted him to be nice to her. Fast forward to today, and Gina's story takes on a new dimension. With Victim 3 missing and the trial hanging in the balance, one can't help but wonder, could Gina be Victim 3?
Well, I told him, and he was like, "You're gonna get an abortion, right?" And then I was like, "I don't know. I don't know yet." And then he offered me $50,000 to get rid of it, but I turned it down because I just I just loved him.
The timelines align and her past allegations mirror the current charges against Diddy. If she is indeed victim 3, her disappearance is deeply concerning. Let's consider the implications. Gina was one of the first to speak out against Diddy, and now, as the trial looms, she's vanished. This isn't just a coincidence, it's a pattern. Witnesses who challenge powerful figures often face intimidation, threats, or worse. The fact that prosecutors can't locate her and her lawyer is reportedly dealing with undisclosed personal issues raises red flags. Again, the prosecution had planned to use her testimony in their opening statements. They even mentioned that she intended to testify under her real name, not a pseudonym. This level of commitment suggests she was ready to face Diddy in court. So, what changed? Did she receive threats? Was she coerced into silence? Or did something more sinister occur? If she's not in hiding, then where is she? And if she is in hiding, what forced her into such a drastic decision? Gina's past allegations, combined with her sudden disappearance, paint a troubling picture. They suggest a pattern of behavior where Diddy allegedly uses his influence to silence accusers. This isn't just about one missing witness, it's about a system where victims feel they can't come forward without facing severe repercussions. As the trial progresses, the spotlight will undoubtedly shine brighter on these issues. The justice system must ensure that witnesses are protected and that powerful individuals are held accountable. Otherwise, the cycle of abuse and silence will continue. In the end, Gina's story is a stark reminder of the challenges victims face when confronting powerful abusers. Her courage in speaking out despite the risks should not be forgotten, and her disappearance should serve as a wake-up call to the justice system. Protect the vulnerable no matter who they're up against. But wait, there's more. According to a report by the BBC, prosecutors have alleged that Diddy has been breaking prison rules by contacting potential witnesses in his upcoming sex trafficking trial. They claim he made relentless efforts to corruptly influence witness testimony by using other inmates' telephone accounts and three-way calls to speak to people not on his approved contacts list.
You read these responses that were filed in Sean Combs' case, and you got to be thinking that his attorneys are bouncing off the wall. It's being alleged now that Sean Combs is literally trying to manipulate witness testimony from inside of the jail. And how is he doing this? Well, the filings and what it suggests in the Southern District that he's paying other inmates and trying to buy their time. Everybody gets a lot of phone call time when you're either awaiting a trial or if you're in a jail for a short sentence, you have right to make phone calls.
Prosecutors also said a review of recorded calls found that Mr. Combs instructed his family to contact potential witnesses in his case. This isn't just bending the rules. It's a full-on attempt to manipulate the judicial process. And that's not the only weird thing going on in this trial. A juror also tried to dip out. Yup, one of the selected jurors emailed the judge asking to be removed from the case due to personal well-being. Another coincidence, or another sign that this case is too hot to handle? Now, some legal analysts say losing one witness won't break the case. After all, Diddy is facing testimony from several victims. And then there's Cassie. She's expected to testify, and oh yeah, she's pregnant now, which could make her even more sympathetic to the jury. But here's the problem. Victim 3 was supposed to corroborate details other witnesses couldn't. Her absence punches a big hole in the narrative. This brings us to the bigger issue. There are reportedly over 400 potential claims coming down the pipeline against Diddy. Civil attorneys like Andrew Van Arsdale say they've received thousands of credible calls about him. Hundreds of people who were too afraid to speak until now. And now that someone has literally gone missing, that could have a chilling effect on the rest. Who's going to want to speak up next?
We believe our clients, we believe our core allegations.
Van Arsdale says he knows not all cases he says he's working on will see the inside of a courtroom, but he's confident Combs' criminal case won't be the last time he'll be facing accusers in court.
Let's not sugarcoat this. The woman known as Victim 3 could be dead. She could have fled the country. Or maybe she's hiding because she got a threat so scary she decided it wasn't worth her life. Whatever the reason, she's not showing up in court, and that means someone won. Meanwhile, Diddy is still pleading not guilty to everything. He's rejected plea deals. He's lost lawyers. His team is arguing that the freak-off parties were consensual, that Cassie was a willing participant, that everyone was just partying. But if that's true, why are people disappearing? Why are jurors scared? Why are victims needing federal protection just to speak the truth? And let's talk about those freak-off tapes. Oh yeah, prosecutors say they're coming. The judge ruled that the baby oil, the surveillance, all of it, admissible. Those tapes might be shown in court. And once they're public, it's game over, because no matter how much Diddy tries to paint these victims as crazy or vengeful, the truth is hard to argue when it's on video. Now here's the thing, this isn't just a VHS cassette hidden in a basement somewhere. This is digital, high-quality, time-stamped evidence that reportedly captures some of the most damning moments of Diddy's so-called freak-offs. We're talking about private parties where witnesses say they were drugged, coerced, and trafficked, caught on camera. And according to federal filings, these tapes don't just show Diddy watching, it allegedly shows him orchestrating. We already know the feds recovered these tapes during the raid on his Los Angeles mansion. And it wasn't just tapes either. Baby oil, restraints, paraphernalia, burner phones, and hard drives. When Homeland Security rolled up with those search warrants, they weren't just on a fishing expedition. They knew what they were looking for. And they found it. So what does this mean for his defense? It means they're toast. Because once that jury sees what actually went down in those rooms, no amount of celebrity PR, no donation to a political campaign, no deflection to a consensual narrative is going to matter. These tapes are about to take center stage and lay it all bare. And it's not just the visuals, it's the context, the corroborating testimony, the timing, and the matching statements from other victims who didn't know each other. The patterns are too strong, too identical, too detailed to be a coincidence. Also, you already know the media circus that's going to explode when those tapes hit the courtroom. Clips are going to leak, headlines will scream, the public reaction will be nuclear. Because as much as people love to root for a comeback story, there's no comeback from this. Not when it's documented, not when it's undeniable. So when we say freak-off tapes, understand, we're not just talking about salacious gossip. We're talking about undeniable, court-approved, prosecutorial-grade evidence that could seal the fate of one of the most powerful men in entertainment. And with those tapes now admissible, the countdown to Diddy's collapse just got accelerated. Okay, but wait, do you want to know who's involved in prosecuting this case? None other than Maureen Comey. Yeah, the daughter of James Comey. She worked on the Epstein case, y'all. And just like that mess, we got another key witness supposedly vanishing. Sound familiar? Witnesses are not showing up. Defense lawyers are backing out. Victims are being silenced. Rinse and repeat. Let's add some more insanity to the mix. There's now talk of Diddy being connected in some very bizarre way to a man who shot up Donald Trump's resort in 2018. That shooter? A former stripper and porn actor who claimed he was Diddy's sex slave. Yeah, you heard that right. He said Diddy forced him into sexual acts and made him sign an NDA for $5 million. He even had the documents. Everyone dismissed him as crazy at the time, but now? That claim doesn't seem so far-fetched anymore. This is what happens when a case is too big, too powerful, too deep. Victim 3 didn't just run. She was possibly scared off. And that's what everyone is afraid to say out loud. You've got prosecutors now admitting they don't know whether she'll even respond to a subpoena. They said it in court. She doesn't live locally, might not even show up. She was supposed to use her real name too, not a pseudonym. That was going to make her testimony even more impactful. But now, it looks like we're never going to hear her story. Oh, and don't forget, this is all happening while Diddy still has political allies. He was at the DNC, he did interviews with Obama and Clinton, and now the same media that platformed him is dead silent. And the legal drama doesn't end there. Remember Letitia James, New York's AG, who charged Trump for inflating property values? Turns out she is now under federal investigation for allegedly inflating her own property values. Served a grand jury subpoena. Yeah. The same people prosecuting Diddy and taking the moral high ground are now catching heat. The entire system is being exposed, layer by layer. Meanwhile, federal agents are reportedly getting ready to bring in more witnesses, including ones related to those wild freak-off parties. One potential witness claimed she saw minors dressed up as Harajuku Barbies at one of these events. Let that sink in.
And I want to start with Tania Wallace, who claims she's been at a freak off and said she saw children, and it was hard for her to say it.
It was very hard for her to say it, Ashley. So what she said was that she was flown out from LA to Miami by the Saudi prince. And they ended up eventually on Star Island at one of Diddy's parties. She says, you know, among many other things, I mean, she goes into detail. This, she says, happened in 2018. She says that she walked into the house and there was a cluster of adults around what she described as little people. And they were dressed up as Japanese Barbies. I forgot the name. It's Harak something. You can help me out here. It's a certain type of Barbie. Anyway.
I know the name, but I've forgotten it. But go ahead.
So she explained that that they were just clustered around these little people, and I kept pushing her, and she eventually said, look, they are little people who should not be at an adult party.
She said at first she thought they were little people, but then realized they were actual kids, made to look like sexy dolls. That testimony could shake the courtroom, if it ever makes it there. Now, this is not just a one-time thing. Diddy might have actually had a pattern of having sexual activities with minors. Back in October 2024, Diddy was actually slapped with cases about this. A 10-year-old boy, 10 years old, was allegedly flown to New York by a so-called career consultant who told his parents he had a chance to meet powerful people in the music business. That meeting turned out to be a one-on-one encounter with Diddy in a hotel room. After the boy performed a few rap songs, Diddy reportedly told him, "I can make you a star," then handed him a soda.
Disturbing new allegations of sexual assault filed against Sean Diddy Combs, this time from a then 10-year-old boy from Los Angeles. A new lawsuit claims that Combs drugged and forced the boy to perform acts. The accuser's parents say they flew with their son to New York City to meet with people in the music industry.
That soda, the lawsuit claims, was laced with ecstasy, or GHB. The boy started to feel dizzy, disoriented, and that's when the abuse allegedly began. According to the lawsuit, Diddy pulled out his penis and forced the 10-year-old to engage in a sex act. The boy reportedly passed out from shock and fear. When he woke up, his pants were undone, and he was in pain. And to make it even worse, Diddy allegedly told him that if he ever told anyone, he'd hurt the boy's parents. That case alone is enough to rock the entire courtroom. But it doesn't stop there. In a separate lawsuit, another male accuser, this time 17 years old, claims he was repeatedly assaulted during the filming of MTV's Making the Band. The plaintiff says he answered casting calls and was invited to audition in person. When he advanced to a private interview stage, things took a sickening turn.
Sean Diddy Combs has been accused in a lawsuit of gang raping a 17-year-old girl in 2003. This is now the fourth sexual assault allegation against the producer in recent weeks. The plaintiff, identified as Jane Doe, alleges that she was flown via private jet from Michigan to Combs' recording studio in New York. The young girl claims she was raped by 3 people, including Combs, Harv Pierre, and the president of Bad Boy Entertainment.
According to his filing, Diddy allegedly asked him how he handled sexual pressure, then began fondling him and masturbating. In later meetings, Diddy allegedly instructed him to undress and prove he could be a sex idol before forcing the teen to perform oral sex and sodomizing him. So yeah, the Harajuku Barbie testimony, that might just be the tip of a much, much darker iceberg. Going back to the witnesses, there are also rumors that Diddy paid out hush money to people who worked security or handled logistics at these events. NDAs were reportedly flying around like candy, with some insiders saying staff were paid not to look in certain rooms, or worse, to look, but stay silent. This is where Jonathan Audie enters the photo. And let me tell you, his story is crazy. Some people believe Diddy isn't the only one on the chopping block. As this trial moves forward, investigators say they're looking at potential co-conspirators, big names, celebrities, executives, politicians. The whole empire might come crashing down. Van Arsdale said it best. There's a list of names that, once exposed, will shock the world. And y'all, that list? It's not just gossip anymore. We're talking about high-ranking politicians, billionaires, and some of Hollywood's most untouchable A-listers. Because once you start digging into the allegations surrounding Diddy, human trafficking, illegal surveillance, financial blackmail, and assault, you realize real quick that nobody could have pulled all that off alone. And if these freak-offs were as wild and well-attended as witnesses claim, then best believe there were other people in that room, watching, maybe even participating. Let's start with the whispers about D.C. One name that keeps floating up is a former U.S. governor who reportedly had multiple private meetings with Diddy during the early 2000s, meetings that now look really suspicious in hindsight. And then there's the Clinton connection. While nothing has been officially confirmed, internet sleuths were quick to point out Diddy's long-standing ties to elite fundraising events and high-profile political dinners where both Bill and Hillary were in attendance.
Poof, gone. No one talks about it.
Do you think P. Diddy is in prison waiting for the Clintons to just kill him?
Do you think...
Every day I'd be looking for them.
I don't think the Clintons were involved with P. Diddy, do you?
No, but Epstein.
Was Epstein involved with P. Diddy?
No, I just feel like these pedophile rings have to cross points.
Again, let's be clear. We're not saying the Clintons were involved in anything criminal. But the optics are messy, especially when photos surface of Diddy rubbing elbows with powerful figures just weeks after settlements or scandals go mysteriously quiet. Over in Hollywood, it gets even darker. A-list actors, Oscar winners, producers, and even streaming execs. Some of them were allegedly frequent guests at Diddy's private parties, which now sound a whole lot more like organized exploitative gatherings. One insider claimed that multiple top-tier celebrities were caught on the freak-off tapes, some blurred out, some not, allegedly doing things that could end careers or worse. And it's not just rumors. Sources close to the case say prosecutors are sitting on hours of footage and plan to subpoena certain big-name figures once the trial progresses. Names like Leonardo DiCaprio and Jamie Foxx have been thrown around in fan speculation, mostly because of their past proximity to Diddy and presence at similar events. Again, nothing concrete has been confirmed, but with federal investigators now digging through party guest lists, flight records, and text messages, it's only a matter of time before someone slips up. Hollywood insiders are reportedly lawyering up left and right. And don't forget the music executives, some of whom allegedly helped cover up the abuse, silence the victims, or even trafficked artists between labels like they were products. One name that keeps surfacing is Jimmy Levine, though it's not clear whether he's actually under investigation or just caught in the proximity mess. Either way, prosecutors are digging, and the industry is shaking. So yeah, victim 3, who might actually be Gina Hoyne, missing. That's not a side note. That might be the thread that unravels the whole thing. Isn't it funny how the closer we get to the truth, the more people start disappearing? The crash is happening. The empire is falling. But the victims? They're still in danger. Because when you go up against someone like Diddy, it's not just about legal justice. It's about survival. And somewhere out there, victim 3 is either hiding for her life, or she paid the ultimate price. But what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments, and make sure to stick around for more.